Beyond Getting By Trantham and Hage. Chapter 1. The Struggle. In the heart of a bustling city lived a man named Marcus. For years, Marcus had been trapped in the same routine, going through the motions of life. He worked a job he didn't love at a company he didn't care much about. Every day, Marcus found himself waking up to the same frustrations: financial stress, a constant feeling of being overwhelmed, and a sense of longing for something more, something that felt meaningful. Yet, no matter how hard he tried, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that he was simply getting by, not really living. His friends would say he was lucky, having a steady job and a roof over his head, but deep down, Marcus felt like there had to be more to life than this. He dreamt of freedom, success, and living life on his own terms, but he felt stuck, unable to break out of the cycle of bills, debt, and dissatisfaction. One evening, after yet another exhausting day at work, Marcus was scrolling through his phone when an article caught his eye. The headline read, "Beyond Getting By: Unlocking the Secrets to True Financial Freedom." Intrigued, Marcus clicked on it, not realizing that this would be the catalyst for a complete transformation in his life. Chapter 2. The Wake-Up Call. The article was based on a book that Marcus immediately sought out, Beyond Getting By Trantham and Hage. As he read, Marcus felt a wave of realization wash over him. The book wasn't just about financial management. It was about the psychology of money and the importance of developing a mindset that could help him achieve something greater than merely surviving. Trantham and Hage talked about the key principles of breaking free from financial limitations, moving from merely getting by to truly thriving. Marcus learned that many people live their entire lives in a state of financial survival, where they're always focused on just getting through the next paycheck. They live for the weekend, constantly worrying about bills, debt, and expenses, and never seem to make much progress toward their dreams. But Baker pointed out that this mindset could be changed. Through the book, Marcus came to understand that in order to thrive, he had to stop thinking like a person who was constantly on the edge of financial collapse. He had to shift his mindset from scarcity to abundance, from merely surviving to achieving real financial freedom. This shift wasn't about simply making more money, but about changing the way he viewed and interacted with money altogether. Chapter 3. The Power of Financial Freedom. The more Marcus read, the more he realized that financial freedom didn't necessarily mean being rich or having millions in the bank. It meant having the power to choose. It meant autonomy, the ability to work when you want, do what you love, and live life on your terms without constantly stressing over money. Trantham and Hage's book made it clear that financial freedom was possible for anyone, regardless of their income level. But it required a combination of mindset shifts, strategic actions, and discipline. Marcus was particularly struck by the concept of intentional living. Trantham and Hage emphasized that most people work for the sake of working, often with no clear purpose or goal. They get caught up in the endless cycle of consumerism and debt, thinking that buying things will make them happy. But true freedom came from taking control of your finances, being intentional with how you spent and saved, and using money as a tool for creating the life you really wanted. For Marcus, the first step was to get clear on his values and goals. He had spent so much time focusing on surviving that he never took the time to think about what he truly wanted out of life. He asked himself, "What do I really care about? What do I want my future to look like?" The answers weren't as simple as a bigger paycheck or a nicer car. Marcus wanted to have more time for himself, for his family, and to pursue the things that truly made him happy, things that weren't tied to work or financial pressures. Chapter 4. The Journey Begins. Inspired by the principles in the book, Marcus took his first steps toward breaking free from the cycle of getting by. He made a list of his financial goals, starting with a simple one: to stop living paycheck to paycheck. He He was tired of constantly worrying about bills, debt, and whether he could afford the next thing. Marcus realized that he needed to start by creating a budget that would allow him to save and plan for the future. But as Marcus worked through the book, he learned that budgeting wasn't just about pinching pennies. It was about making intentional decisions. Trantham and Hage encouraged readers to distinguish between needs and wants, to make conscious choices about how to spend money, and to always ask whether a purchase aligned with their values and long-term goals. Marcus began tracking his spending carefully. He cut back on unnecessary subscriptions, ate out less, and focused on building an emergency savings fund. Over time, he realized that his financial stress was largely due to not being in control of his spending. Every month, he felt like money was slipping through his fingers without any real direction. But now, with a plan in place, Marcus started to feel more empowered. He wasn't just surviving, he was taking charge of his financial future. Chapter 5. Breaking the Chains of Debt. The next major hurdle Marcus had to face was his debt. Like many people, Marcus had accumulated credit card debt over the years, along with a car loan and student loans. He had always been taught that debt was a normal part of life, something that everyone dealt with. But as he read more of Beyond Getting By, he learned that debt was not just a financial burden. It was a psychological one. Debt kept him chained to his job and to a constant state of worry. Trantham and Hage's advice was clear: get rid of debt as quickly as possible. They introduced the concept of the debt snowball method, where you focus on paying off your smallest debts first and then work your way up to larger ones. The idea behind this was to build momentum by starting with the smaller amounts, which helped Marcus feel a sense of achievement as he knocked off each debt. It wasn't easy. Marcus had to make sacrifices, cutting back on his lifestyle, limiting his spending on things that weren't essential, and sometimes saying no to social activities in order to stay focused on paying off his debts. But as he stuck to his plan, he saw the results. Slowly but surely, the debt that had once felt like an insurmountable mountain began to shrink. It wasn't just a financial victory, it was a psychological one too. Marcus was beginning to feel more free, more in control. Chapter 6. Building Wealth with Intention. Once Marcus had made progress with his budgeting and debt, he turned his attention to the next step: building wealth. It wasn't enough to just get by or pay off debt, he needed to create a foundation for long-term financial security. Trantham and Hage emphasized that building wealth didn't require a high-paying job or fancy investments. It was about consistently saving, making smart investments, and growing your money over time. The key was to start early, invest regularly, and make informed decisions about where to put your money. Marcus wasn't an expert in investing, but he took the time to learn about stocks, mutual funds, and retirement accounts. He started small, contributing to his retirement fund at work, and set up an automatic savings plan to put aside a portion of his income each month. He also focused on creating additional income streams outside of his job, such as freelance work and starting a small side business. Though it took time, Marcus began to see his financial situation improve. He wasn't just getting by, he was building wealth. More importantly, he was gaining a sense of freedom. With every step forward, Marcus felt like he was getting closer to living life on his own terms. Chapter 7. Living with Purpose and Freedom. As the months passed, Marcus's life started to change. He no longer lived in a state of financial anxiety, constantly worrying about his next paycheck or how he would make ends meet. He had freed himself from the chains of debt and was building wealth with intention. But more importantly, Marcus had found purpose. The concepts in Beyond Getting By had shifted his entire approach to life. He realized that true financial freedom wasn't about the money itself. It was about the choices it allowed him to make. It was about having the freedom to spend his time on the things that truly mattered, whether that was traveling, pursuing passions, or spending time with the people he loved. Marcus took a trip he had always dreamed of to Europe, where he explored the streets of Paris, hiked in the Swiss Alps, and learned the art of slow living. He was no longer tied to his desk or his bills. He had learned to live with intention, to spend wisely, and to work towards financial freedom in a way that aligned with his values. Chapter 8. A New Life. Looking back, Marcus marveled at how far he had come. What started as a feeling of frustration and being stuck had transformed into a journey of personal growth and financial empowerment. Beyond getting by had given him the tools, mindset, and strategies to break free from the cycle of surviving and begin thriving. He had learned that financial freedom wasn't just about money. It was about making choices that allowed him to live a life of purpose, adventure, and fulfillment. No longer trapped in the routine of simply getting by, Marcus was now living a life that reflected his values, dreams, and goals. And most importantly, he had the freedom to live on his own terms.